Welcome to Level Up Tribes. Level Up Tribes provides resources to help you attain the necessary resources to level up your mind, body, and soul and realize your full potential. It is about exploring, learning, providing you with the tools from the experts for you to create a better version of yourself. I am your host, Agnes Goodwine, and welcome, Tribes. With over 20 years of professional experience, Rachna Nath is a faculty member at Chandler Gilbert Community College and teacher at Arizona College Prep in Chandler campus, where she teaches grades 9 through 12, both honors biology and human anatomy and physiology. With a genuine passion for teaching and giving back to her community, Rachna is perfectly equipped to provide the utmost education for her students. Rachna was born and raised in Assam, 100 miles away from the wettest place on earth. She is married with a 13-year-old daughter and 11-year-old son. She recently completed her second master's degree from ASU and is working on honeybee development genetics with ASU Honeybee Lab. In her spare time, Rachna runs a school for Indian Classical Odissi. She has performed at prestigious events throughout the valley. Her passion for Odissi dance started when she was 6 years old and has had the honors to be nourished by gurus well known in Assam, India. It has been her journey of self-realization and self-motivation as she continues her venture into this vast sea of rhythmic melody and tranquility. Level Up Tribes podcast is about introducing you to individuals that have persevered regardless of their struggles, but have found ways to uplift others along their journey. Culture plays a big role in our identity. As we grow and level up spiritually and mindfully, it is important to always look back at our root. An article from importantindia.com said it best. Culture is important to us because it defines our evolutionary identity. Culture helps us understand our ancestral values and give us the very meaning of life. It also makes us unique. Traditional culture of a community keep us bonded forever. That, beloveds, is what Level Up Tribes is all about. I hope you enjoy the episode. I know that Rachna and I did. Rachna, I am so happy that you're here in Level Up Tribe podcast and that you reached out to talk about this beautiful Odissi dance.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. I always like to start with the story of my guests. So if you can start, from your story and begin there.
Okay, so my story starts in Guwahati, India. It is 100 kilometers from Cherrapunji, Mausynram, which is the wettest place on earth. And I am the eldest of 3 siblings. I have a sister in Australia. My brother is in Seattle.
Nice.
So I was not the best of the students in high school, but I did manage to get into a good college. And from there on, my dad wanted me to do medicine, but I decided, hey, no, not medicine. So we went to a general line, and I came here in the U.S. in 2003 after I got married to my husband.
Beautiful.
And since then, it's been a teaching cycle I taught at community. So I actually joined the Maricopa Community College Districts in 2004.
Okay.
And I've been teaching there since then for a long, long time. I had my kids. During that time, it helped actually because I was able to schedule my classes in the evenings so that I got to stay with my kids in the morning, in the daytime, and then go take my classes because I was still able to pursue my passion. And after that, 2012, when my youngest started to go to school, I said, okay, enough of just teaching. I need to do some studies too. So I reached out to USDA, which is the United States Department of Agriculture, started a job there. And since then, it transpired to another graduate degree at ASU. But presently, I'm teaching at a high school, Arizona College Prep area. It's part of the Chandler Unified School District. And I'm really proud to be a teacher there because their students are terrific. They're awesome. So.
I love my teachers. Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, it's nothing. I would be nothing without them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit offline, and you guys just got a grant. So before we get into the dance, let's just, talk about this a little bit because that's great news.
Well, so I do a lot of innovative projects with my students. And this grant I actually received the news today morning. It's an Arizona Recycling Coalition grant. So three of my students are actually working on collecting styrofoam plates from the cafeteria and finding a way to get rid of the styrofoam within the school itself. So the test was to use some kind of beetle. So they are called tenebrio beetles. So mealworms are actually a larval form of those beetles. So the mealworms, they eat the styrofoams.
Oh, wow.
And I have actually, so my students and me, we were able to create a complete life cycle of the beetles. And when we fed them the styrofoams, they actually decomposed them, not to a level that it's going to be a solution to the styrofoam problem,
Yes.
but at least some kind of management. So we were able to reduce it. We got the data, we applied for the grant, and we did get it. So we're just going to go into a bigger scale this time. So thank you.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear what that develops later.
Absolutely. Our plan is that hopefully all the schools can get a program like this, where they can at least, even if it's 10-20% of the styrofoams that they can recycle. That's a huge benefit to the environment.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, thank you.
Awesome. What was your transition from India to America? Because I went through that when I was 11, coming from Puerto Rico to United States, and it was different.
Sure.
So how was that for you?
Well, I've never been out of home.
Yeah.
My entire schooling, college, education in India was just staying at my mom's place, and that's what the usual culture is, that the students, unless they are studying out of station, like out of their city, and I didn't. So I was at home till I was 26 years old with my parents, and then the first big trip was to US. And I remember that one day when I actually called my mom when I reached here, I couldn't talk to her. I was choking because all of that feeling came back, that I'm so many miles away from her.
Yeah.
And that's when it actually struck, because with the whole excitement of getting married and transfer to a new home, I was sad that we were, but it was nothing like when you come here, you land here and you realize, oh my God, it's just my husband and me. That's nobody. And I distinctly remember that I was literally choking when I was talking to my mom.
Yes.
So
Did you go home
it was
often?
hard. We did go home a year later for my sister's marriage.
Okay.
But again, the trips are really short. It's like 2 to 3 weeks. And when you have something occasion there, it's not just sitting with your mom and you're talking. It's mom and dad. It's just rushing after everything.
Yes.
So, but yeah, thankfully we did get to call and did get to talk. So,
well, you're doing great things here.
Oh, no.
It's beautiful. I can't wait to get deep into it.
No,
Let's talk about the Odissi dance. What is the history behind this dance?
So, Odissi is one of the oldest classical dance forms in India, and its roots go out really, really deep. When I started dancing, I was 7 years old. And I remember my dance teacher, she is still in India, and I call her whenever I can. So she inspires me. Her husband, Shantikam Hazarika, my guru's name is Sangeeta Hazarika.
Okay.
And her husband's name is Shantikam Hazarika. Both of them has been such a huge influence in my life that it's unbelievable. Because the root of this dance is to give, to express. And, dancing here, we consider it as a form of exercise. We think it as a form of culture that we are handing up to from one generation to the other. What I learned more from my guru, Sangeeta Hazarika, and her husband and her 2 kids, is compassion. I learned giving, because I remember my sister and me, we would walk to the dance school. So dance was twice a week. So Wednesday and Saturday. So Wednesdays we would walk from home to the dance school, which is like 15 minutes walk. And she would be there and she would open up the fridge to us. She said, oh, you're hungry. You have come from school, so eat whatever you have. There's 1 more hour for dance class to start, but you're welcome to have anything that is there.
Yes.
And I didn't think of it much then, but then I realized, oh my God, she is so giving. She has taught me more than just dance. And that's what all of the Indian classical dances come from. It's tradition.
Okay.
You know, something that you hand from one generation to the other. It's not just the dance form. It's the whole mixture of culture that comes with it. Because whenever we start dancing, we start off by thanking Mother Earth. So we do a small step. We call it Guru Pranam, Bhumi Pranam, sorry. And in Bhumi Pranam, we actually say sorry to Mother Earth, saying that, Mother Earth, I'm so sorry that I'm going to dance on you. It's going to pain you, but it's for my practice, so I apologize.
Oh, I love it. That just touched my heart.
I know. And at the end of my dance practice every single day, we do the Bhumi Pranam again, saying that, thank you, Mother Earth, for allowing me to dance on you. So it's considered to be God, because Earth gives us everything that we need. So that's the culture. So what I got from Odissi was not just a dance form, but a whole set of culture that comes with it. And my guru being my guru, she's always going to be a part of me. And actually my dance school is named after her dance school in India. So it's like a part of it that...
and for those who are listening, the name is?
Sangeeta Nritya Academy.
Okay.
So it's like I said, she and her husband has given me more than I can ever thank her for.
Yes.
So
and
that's what...
Is that something that you, now with your students, is something that you find yourself giving back, the same thing?
Yeah. And I mean, with most of the dance schools, they have a very strict regimens of, you come here, you come at this time. If you miss 5 minutes, you're done.
Okay.
But for me, I think that beyond that, of course, you have to have some discipline. I do believe that it's not just time commitment. It's something that you come here for, you enjoy. And when you're enjoying, when the students are enjoying, I think that's where the connection lies.
Yes.
And you don't have to be a dictator to teach things.
Yes.
And I never learned from a dictator. My guru was the most giving personality I talked about. But I do feel that when you have a respect for your teacher, it comes automatically. You don't have to force it on anybody.
Yes.
So
that's awesome. Is it born in India? Is it natural for children to learn this dance? And it's mainly girls, right?
Yeah,
because I haven't seen any boys. So can you talk about that? I wasn't sure if.
No, there are boys.
Okay.
There are actually, my guru's guru was a boy.
Okay.
I mean, Guru Gangadhar Pradhan. I mean, I do this with my hand because it's to even mention his name is a big deal for me.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it's very humbling that I had a chance to learn from Guru Gangadhar Pradhan. So he used to come from Orissa actually to our school in Assam to teach us. So unfortunately he passed away, but I mean his traditions are still going on. And so yeah, a couple of major exponents of Odissi dance was male.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are still a lot of male dancing, and it's not very common.
Yes.
But there are many. Many gurus.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Is there anything else in regards to the history of Odissi dance that you would like to mention?
There are many stories related to why do we do a certain kind of gesture versus our main position, which we call chauka. Actually, how did that posture come into our dance? There is a long story to it. I'll never be done with the story.
Well, it's been around. I think I read for it was 2,000 years. Like this dance. It's amazing.
It has a very long history.
Yes.
And if I say it and I'm not right, I'll be very disrespectful.
That's okay.
No, but again, everything has a lot of tradition and a lot of culture associated with it.
Can you talk about the story behind the movements, the balance of the flexibility, the strength training that you have to have, the discipline, and the graceful of the movements? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, so when a student comes to me first, the first thing I tell my parents is that they're not going to be on stage for the first 1 hour, 1 year, 1.5 years, because that's when the actual practice starts. So they have to learn hand-eye-brain coordination with your legs. So when you're doing steppings, like when steppings are the basic exercises. So so in Odissi dance we have different forms of exercises. We call them sound exercises, soundless exercises. So those exercises are basically for your flexibility. So once those are done, we head on to steppings. So we have two different types of steppings, so chauka steppings and tribhangi steppings. So chauka steppings means, it's just a specific type of gesture, a position that you hold, and you do step movements according to it. So there are 10 chauka steppings. And then tribhangi means there are 3 bends in your body. Okay. I wish I could have shown it. But and we have steppings based on that too. So after the steppings comes the brahmaris, and unless we are done with all of those, which trains your body, trains your leg, your hand-eye coordination, your neck coordination. So
yes.
We don't go to dance.
Okay.
The reason being that, everybody can dance, but to be respectful of the traditions and cultures that this dance form comes to respect the guru that actually has been involved in the formation of the dance, the founding fathers of the dance.
Yes.
We will not be respectful to them if we do anything and everything that's possible. Yeah, a lot of things are possible.
Yes.
But to stay true to the dance form, you have to train the students. So first 1.5 years is basically just that, training them, so that once they learn that, the actual dances that comes after that, it's a very easy transition.
Is there a spiritual connection with this dance?
Oh, I feel it all the time.
Yeah.
I love abhinays. Abhinays are expressive dances. And that's what I specialize in mostly. Okay. I love that. So storytelling, basically. Mm-hmm. So when you're telling a story, it doesn't matter whether you're sitting or you're dancing on your feet. It's just your eyes, your face expressions with your hands and your neck and your body. You can actually express so much more.
Yes.
And spiritually, when I think about, say, Lord Krishna and Radha, so it's a typical pair that we talk about, Radha Krishna, just thinking about that. And we have learned so much, our parents have taught us so much about culture, about the traditions, and about the stories of Lord Radha Krishna. So when I think about it and when I dance about it, the instinctively, those expressions come out. Right. So it's more like a joyous feeling, where you're, so there is one story where Lord Krishna, so we have actually a festival of colors, which is called Holi. And Lord Krishna wants to put colors on Radha, but she wants it in a way, but she also needs to say no. So this whole playful sequence, it is so funny. It is so, it's very, very cute in a way.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to express that in dance form is definitely spiritual. It's something that brings me back to that, takes me to an era where, maybe I am in that particular scenario. Yeah. So it's very, 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 very spiritual.
Did you have any ancestors that did this dance?
Not in my family, no. Okay. So it was just me and my sister.
Okay. And you're passing it on now to your children?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
What is it about the dance style that resonated with you?
Odissi, the one thing that really resonates with me is the gracefulness of the dance.
Yes.
It is, I will be unfair to other dance forms, but for me, just looking at a dance just brings me to a different level. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure all the dancers for different forms of dance feels the same way about their dance. Yes. For me, I have to say the gracefulness and the elegance that comes with the dance is something that had swayed me from the very beginning.
The outfits, the makeup, the jewelry, everything is just amazing. And I had the privilege, we were talking about this offline, to see a group of girls dancing when I was interviewing Carlos, who's a flamenco dancer. And I literally was mesmerized. I'm like, what is this? And the girls were so elegant and with their movements, and the stomping scared me because the stomping was really like forced. Sure. Is there a reason behind the force of the step? when they step down?
I don't know which dance form you saw though.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, I don't know
differs for
either.
different- yeah.
Okay.
So in Indian dance forms, basically the steppings are a big portion of it.
Okay.
So yes, you do have to step in certain way, and that basically actually gives you the strength to go to the next step. So if you
Got
have your
it.
footing wrong, then you're stuck in one place and you cannot
Yes.
perform the next step.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean the whole when you talk about Odissi, so the jewelries are all silver jewelry, so we don't wear gold. And the dresses are specifically made in a special pattern, and it's beautiful. And
beautiful.
once my students, when they want, and that's one of the way to motivate them. Hey, you want to perform? You better get this quicker, because
Yes.
if you don't, then you don't. And for the students who performed at Carlos's, Carlos invited us for performing at his dance festival. These two girls, it was their debut dance, and they were fascinated by the dresses, and we
Yes,
ordered them,
it's
and
beautiful.
we got it. It's more of a, it gives them a feeling of, okay, now I need to go to the next level. So this is done. So, and it's a continuous encouragement.
Yes. Can you talk about the ink on the fingers and the feet?
Yeah, the alta. So we call it alta. So
Okay.
it's, to think about it now, I don't know what it's made of. But it is...
It's like a clay, maybe? Or
no, it's an ink. It's a red color ink. We call it alta.
Okay.
And we use it so that we actually, whenever we are using our mudras, our hand positions, it just looks a lot more better.
Okay.
So yeah, we do it on our feet, on our hands, and it's mainly to bring out our hand gestures a little bit
Got
more,
it.
obviously.
Can you explain, now that we're talking about the mudras, the different forms of expression, especially the mudras, because that is just fascinating to me.
So hand gestures, so we call them, in our language, we call them as mudras, of course. So there are two different kinds. There are asanjukta hasta mudras, which are single hand movements, and sanjukta hasta mudras, which are double hand movements. So using a single hand movement or double hand movements, we can actually portray a lot of things. Like if you want to do a window, you put your fingers in a specific way, it becomes a window, maybe a fish.
Yes.
Put one hand on top of the other and use your thumbs to make it a row so that it becomes a fish. So depending on what you're trying to portray, we use a lot of our hand gestures to express that. Say the moon versus the sky. So, I mean, everything, and the story will depict what kind of mudras you can use,
Yes.
because there are very specific mudras. So when you're doing a pen, the pen is like this, and again, very specific mudras and we have to learn all of those.
Yes.
The training of these students before hitting dance is all on the mudras, the neck movements, the head movements, the eye movements. All of those come together before they actually go for a dance. So it's a lot of work.
I know. It sounds like it. So no wonder, you said it might take a year,
Yeah.
to learn
sure.
all of this. Just the mudras alone, there's so many of them.
Yeah. And there are modifications of those mudras. So the first 28 mudras that we have in our single hand movements, they can actually, again, so this is pataka. So for pataka itself, there are a couple of other, there are, if I remember, 8 or 9 of them, single just for pataka. So what can you do with pataka? So you can make it as a flag versus you can say stop. So
Okay.
even with pataka, there are many more from just pataka or tripataka.
Yes.
You can use it as a pen. You can use it as a show anger. So there are again different versions
Wow.
of it. So there are many.
Oh my God, I'm amazed.
Yeah.
Tell us about your dance studio. How many students you have, and just the process of someone that wants to join.
So I try to keep my dance classes really small. I don't accept a lot of students because, I tell them in the beginning, and when I talk to the parents, when somebody approaches me, I say, okay, come and observe a class first, and then decide what you want to do. And I know you want to do dance, but this is what it takes for training. So I start my class with squats from the students back and forth, like 6 times.
Wow.
So just to warm up.
Okay.
A lot of students are like, I'm not squatting. And that's just
What's the
warm up.
purpose of this?
To exercise, to make them
Okay.
more flexible and just to get
Okay.
the body warmed up so that, they can actually started dance, because just like a regular warm-up for all the exercises, all the yogas, all the things that you do, warm-ups and cool-downs are a must. So that is, for me, I mean, and when you're squatting at a 90-degree angle, and that actually helps with the postures, the Odissi postures.
True.
I tell my parents that you have to be very particular about what the students do, and they're not going to be on stage for the first year, so you have to be okay with that.
Okay.
And once they start, they're pretty consistent with it.
Okay.
So, and I'm very flexible. Sometimes when I cannot do a class, I make sure that the students get a separate time for makeup.
Okay.
And as of now, I have around 12 students.
Okay.
But they are separated out in different batches, because depending on how much they have learned. So I have one student who is close to graduation, which takes 7 years.
Wow.
So it's a 7-year curriculum. So we actually had to go through a yearly exam process through an institution in Orissa.
Really?
Yeah. And we get certificates. So it's actually a certification course. It's a certification course. So yeah.
Wow. It's, can someone, let's say my age, can I learn this? Or is it better to learn this type of art form when you're younger?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you want to do with that dance, right? If you want to be a professional dancer at this point, and if you already have a dance background, I don't think it's going to be a big deal for you. But for most part, the parents also want to learn as a motivation to their kids.
Okay.
So that way you're still performing, but you're not taking it as a career. So to be successful in a career, you have to have quite a bit of training, which is not something that, for me, I wouldn't think of starting a career on a separate dance.
Okay.
Because, and I'm not saying that it can't be done.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there are many of others who can take this as a profession, but.
And when you say career and profession, that's constantly performing.
Oh yeah, because my present guru, who is from Bangalore, Madhulita Mahapatra. So that is her career. She has an MBA degree, and she decides not to work, and she just pursues dance. She has a big school in Bangalore. She wins tons of awards.
Wow.
And she actually is going to be here on the 14th.
Okay.
In Phoenix, and then I'll go and visit her. But we try to keep in touch.
Is she going to perform here?
Yes, on the 20th.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where? Is it
I'll
private?
let you know.
Okay.
No. It's public.
Okay.
And so I'll forward that to you.
Yes, please.
So, and she is amazing. So, like I said, it's her career.
Okay.
So that's all she does since morning, and she's fabulous at it. So even though she has multiple degrees, she has dedicated her life to just pure dance.
Right. So when you perform, what does it bring to you? Like, how do you feel when you're up there? What's that feeling like when you're in the moment in the dance?
I lose myself.
Yeah.
I lose myself. And the biggest thing that brings me joy is doing abhinays. And I see myself in that role. I try to, I don't know what's the right word, but you get in that role and then you perform. That is transcending. It
sounds like
godly.
some type of meditation.
It is. It is. And with the music that is so suiting to your ears, you already know the steps. And again, with abhinays, there is a margin of error that you can actually do what you like and not be 100% step to step what pure dance forms are. So that gives you a certain amount of leeway to, modify it according. You still have to follow regimen.
Okay.
But how you do it, like one or two things, it's a flexibility thing. So that actually is where you bring in your own creativity in it.
Nice, I like it.
And
what's the background with the music?
The music, most part for us, it cannot be live because we don't have accompanists here, physicians, musicians here. We can definitely get them from India, but most of the dance forms the dances that I do as practice are all recorded audios.
What type of instruments? I guess that's what I was getting. What type of instruments is used for this type?
the biggest one that we use in Odissi is pakhawaj. So pakhawaj, it's a kind of a drum, but it is very specific to Orissa. So it's very hard to get. We don't have a pakhawaj player in, as far as I know, we don't have one in Phoenix. I don't know if there is anyone in US.
Okay.
But the instrument is, it's like a regular Indian drum, but the music, the sound is very, very particular, very, and if you listen to any piece, Orissa piece, pakhawaj is a big one because that's what gives you the beats and the drums and stuff.
Is there an artist you listen to? Because I do want to listen to some of this music.
I will. I'll
give me some.
This. Yeah. No, the biggest. There's not one specific artist that I listen to.
Okay.
So with Madhulita Di, I call her Didi, my guru. She makes her. So she choreographs a lot, and I love her music that she comes to. I don't know whom she makes it with, but I'll definitely.
I would love to listen to that.
To those, yeah.
Yes. I want to get to, how do you keep the younger generation involved in this traditional dance? Because kids nowadays, they're into this technology and iPad. How do you bring them back and say, this is so important for you to learn your roots and your culture?
The credits goes to their parents. Again, like you said, yes, there's a whole scenario of electronics, but I think the parents play a pivotal role in bringing the kids to my class and be here while the students are practicing and learning. Yeah. And without them, the kids will be very easily diverted to anything else. But I think the parents still believe that learning a dance form or learning any classical or cultural thing is beneficial to them because it holds them to their root.
Yes.
And I think it's very important because being in India, and my kids are first generation Americans here, and they are at a point where should I follow the Indian classical thing or the American classical?
Yeah.
So I do feel that the time that they take to bring the kids in, and trust me that I will teach them things that will hold them to their roots, because I just I talk to my students a lot too. One of it was very funny because one of my students, one day, so she's I think 8 years old. So the other day she comes up and says, Rachna auntie, we need to play rock, paper, scissors in Odissi. I'm like, how do you play rock, paper, scissors in Odissi? And I kept on delaying her, like, okay, wait. And I thought she was really going to play rock, paper, scissors. And she did play rock, paper, scissors, but the mudras were Odissi mudras. So when she said rock means mushti. So you have this hand gesture. So she was using the gestures, and she was saying the rock as mushti, paper as pataka, and scissors as kantarimuka. So she was playing mushti, pataka, kantarimuka. And I'm like, oh my God.
Nice.
So they are able to imbibe them in their day-to-day activities. And that's what my main intention is, that dance should not be a chore.
Yes.
It should be something that you can relate it into your life and actually live it.
Yes.
And that's what I saw her living through it, and I was amazed.
You were
I actually
proud.
put one on the video on Facebook. I was so proud of them.
Yeah.
And they're like small kids. 6, 7, 8 years old, and to be able to process that information and think about Odissi hand gestures while they're actually playing rock, paper, scissors in school is tremendous for me.
Yes.
I think I was successful in teaching them something.
One of the things that I love doing this podcast is because I get to meet people from all walk of life and cultures and ethnicity and doing great things in the community. Sure. And you're one of them.
Oh.
And so I know that when you're trying to do your best, and you've done so much so far,
Oh, no.
So far you have done a lot. What are your biggest challenges? Because Level Up podcast is about telling your story, where you are today, and that mindset that you kind of have to keep pushing to say, you know what, this is kind of the road that I'm going on. Have you had any hiccups or challenges along the way and still doing what you're doing? Like, what are your biggest challenges when it comes to the Odyssey?
Well, biggest challenge is a mindset.
Okay.
You know, when my students tell me, I can't do this, Rachna Aunty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Why do you think you can't do it? So I had a student in the morning today, and she's like, Rachna Aunty, this is so hard. I can't get it. I can't get it. And I tell her, okay, break it up into smaller pieces. You know, and again, the coordination comes in. So the way I teach it, I teach the leg movements first, and then the hand movements come in, and then you mash all of those together.
Yes.
And yes, the more they advance, and this is one of my intermediate students,
Okay.
it becomes harder at one point. And when I show them this, they go, whoa, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But they do get it. And the mindset of it's okay for them not to know something at first or can't do it at first, but keep that mindset going that I will get it no matter
Yes.
what. And this is something that I really, really see in all the students, because at one point they break down.
Right.
And it's not just in dance, and even in life, they'll say, I'm done. But what does I'm done mean? Does it mean I'm done with today?
Yes.
I'm done with tomorrow?
That's
or
true.
forever? Should never be forever.
Yes.
Because it's something that is part of you. Because when you dance, it becomes you. When you study, it becomes you. It becomes your knowledge. Should never be, I'm done.
Right.
You know, and there'll be obstacles every single time. And I tell my students, every time you see me succeed in something, there are 99 failures behind that success.
Right.
And I cannot be successful if I've not faced all of those failures before.
Yes.
People see it on Facebook, or people do this, and they see, okay, she's done this, but there are so many failures,
Yes.
Agnes, I have to tell you.
Yes.
And every step of the way, I say, okay, no.
Right.
So while we applied for another grant, and that one we didn't get. And I was sitting in my principal's office crying, literally crying. And he said, I'm really happy to see you cry for my students. And I'm like, I'm so sad that the students worked so hard and we didn't get the grant, but that doesn't stop us, right? So now we are at rock bottom. So the only way up is up.
Yes.
So, and those students told me, Mrs. Nath, we will continue.
Yes.
And that told me that I have been able to teach them, don't stop at failure.
Yes.
Because failures will be in every step of your way, but how do you get up? What do you learn from that and go above and beyond? That's what it is. And our school motto is be extraordinary.
Love it.
So it's every child every day.
Yes.
So it's not a group of students that you invest in. It's the
Right.
whole mindset that you invest in.
Right.
And I believe that if I'm able to even change one student with a positive mindset, he or she is going to influence two more. Those two will influence 2 or 4 more. And it's just like a ripple effect.
Right. Right.
So that's what I truly believe in.
Yeah. And I think that's so important because, kids now, our generation, we didn't have it as easy,
No, we didn't.
and so it did take a certain type of mindset to keep pushing, just learning English for me was something huge,
Sure.
and there were times, even now I'm like, okay, am I pronouncing that word right? But you just keep doing and you keep pushing.
Sure.
And so I can see why now you only have a small set of students because you can give that one-on-one attention
Absolutely.
and feedback.
Mm-hmm.
You're turning into your guru.
No.
Isn't that awesome?
No. I can never live
No?
up to my gurus. No. I mean, they are at another level.
That's
But
awesome.
I do feel happy that I'm able to give the same education to my students that she gave me.
Right. With all that being said, like what's rewarding to you?
I mean, the one thing that's really rewarding to me is to see that these kids are my products,
Yeah.
which I'm a product of my guru
Yes.
and my mentors. So I have this one teacher. I always think so much highly of her. There's one in high school and one in my college. My high school teacher, Miss Thomas. Oh my God, she was like 6'4" or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and her 2 daughters, twin daughters, used to be in my school, in my same class. I don't know why everything that I do, it reminds me of her. And one of my college professors, university professors, when I was doing my master's degree, Savitri Bordoloi, she has always stood by me. Don't know what I have or why she would do that, but it has always been, whenever she would hear something on Facebook, she was like, Rachna, congratulations. And I would never fail to say Happy Teacher's Day to her. And it's something that nobody can take it from me. You know, it is inside me.
Yes.
And when I talk about specific persons in my life, like my dance guru, my guru's husband, and it's just the way that I was brought up. They had so much positive influence in my life.
That's so important.
Yeah.
I call them earth angels.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've had some too, and it's I don't know about you, but my earth angels have appeared in my life when I needed that extra nudge.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And they still appear. Mm-hmm. That I'm headed in that right direction.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And one of my other big admirers is my uncle, my Dharmeshwar Maha. So he's my mother's side's aunt's husband.
Okay.
And he is one of the literate geniuses. And when I get something like a small reward or whatever, you know, and he would always come and say, Rachna, I'm so proud of you. And what fascinates me is that, oh my God, this guy is up there and he's wishing me best of luck. And it just grounds me.
Yeah.
You know, and another thing that I really have to mention is through all my students' project, I had the fortune of going to MIT last summer.
Nice.
And I don't mention this because it's MIT. I mention this because it had made so much influence in my life that all the professors that I talked to, MIT professors, they're huge, right? Everybody was talking to you at a level that they are your friends. And they are open to suggestions. They're open to giving you ideas about what you can do with innovation and research.
Wow.
And I really mentioned this to Lee Esterbrooks, who was one of the mentors of the program that I went there for. She says, ideas are for free. Anybody can get an idea.
Yes.
But to take that idea and to make something out of it is your...
Give me 5 on that
Oh
one.
my
Yes.
God, really?
Yes.
And I was floored.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And these people influence so many lives.
Did you go by yourself or did you have the students there with you?
No, it was just for the mentors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hopefully next year we'll go there with the students. But it was an amazing experience just being there.
Right.
And to be talking to one of the top innovators of the country, of the nation even. I mean, it was something.
Right.
So that's what I learned. I mean, ideas are for free.
Yes.
So
I love it. What advice would you offer someone who's considering learning this beautiful traditional Indian dance? Whether they're young or whether there's for their children or self?
Well,
where do you start?
Well, you can start anytime, anywhere, right? But the motivation has to be known. So why are you learning and why do you want to learn it? Right. Is it just because your parents are forcing you to?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of us do that, you know, and but once you are in there, you have to be religious to it. You have to learn it. You have to practice. You have to do your homework.
Yes.
Just like any other classwork, any other subject. This is another subject that you're trying to pursue.
Right.
But I would definitely say that whatever you pick, whether you pick Odissi, whether you pick Bharatanatyam, whether you pick Hindustani classical music, Carnatic music, just be true to it.
Okay.
Practice. And even if you are not the best, practice makes
perfect.
So that's what I believe. And a lot of people who are really smart and really gifted wasted away because they don't want to do it.
Right.
But even an average person with regular practice can do amazing things, leaps and bounds. Yeah.
Yes. Where can listeners go to see this dance being performed here in the Valley?
The one thing that I would definitely tell all the viewers is go to azindia.com. So it's arizonaindia.com. And that's a website that actually has a calendar that tells you everything that's going on in the Valley, especially with the Indian crowd.
Okay.
So there is a big event coming up on November 9th, which is a Discover India Festival in Scottsdale Civic Plaza. That is one of the major events that we hold. Not me, but the organizers hold. The president, Babu Dash, he is an amazing guy. So he and a lot of other volunteers work really hard to put this thing together. And I would really encourage all of the listeners to go out there, have a glimpse of the Indian culture, Indian food, Indian dresses, because there's Indian stalls, Indian jewelry, so they can get henna done, and there are lots of things going on that day.
Yeah, I love my henna.
So
I normally do it on my hand.
Yeah. And henna is actually, it goes a long way. It's a part of our tradition too.
Okay.
So we actually used to have so the henna comes from a special kind of leaf, from a special kind of plant.
Okay.
So we used to
school me on that.
Yeah.
Because I love henna.
Well, we used to tear the leaves. So we used to have it in our home in Assam.
Oh, nice.
And we used to get those leaves, mash it under a rolling pin. You know those heavy rolling pins? And then that's henna, actually. Wow. So nowadays, they just dry the leaves and then get the henna powder out of it. But we actually use those leaves, smash it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
Is there anything else you would like to add or discuss that we haven't touched on today?
No, I mean, I really think that the students, whatever they learn, the biggest lesson from my life is you'll fail 99 times before you get one success. But that ratio changes from different. Some people are really lucky, right? Yeah. But for me, I learned I had to go through every single thing the really hard way. And what my life taught me is that life doesn't come easy. Yeah. But do not stop to dream. Yes. And if you do not stop to dream and you have your eyes in one thing that you want, no matter what happens in your life, no matter how old you are, that positive thing will happen in your life. Yes. And I truly believe it.
I believe it too.
And you just have to not lose focus. And again, there'll be millions of things that goes wrong when you're trying to aim to that, but you will get it. And that's what I truly, truly, truly believe, because that's what preps you for everything. That's what gets you going, because you want that.
That's the best way to end it. I love it. What is the best way for our listeners to contact you and perhaps maybe sign up for dance classes? Or even if they want to find out about your awesome science, all of that good stuff that you're doing out here in the Valley.
Email me. It's my first name, last name @gmail.com. It's Rachna Nath @gmail.com. I'm pretty good at emails. Look me up on social media, on Facebook. I'm not too much of a tech person, but I do go to Facebook. So, and yeah, I mean, just email is the best way to reach me.
Well, thank you for having me and reaching out to me. It was like the best thing that happened to me so far, because like we spoke earlier, I love the Indian culture, and it is just beautiful. And thank you for teaching me so much stuff today.
No, I mean, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And it's just to talk about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so much to say. Yes. But I think the biggest thing is that you came out to meet me here, and thanks for coming, because I love talking about my students. I love telling them what my life experiences are. Some of them were really, really nasty, but, and we just have to keep growing. Yes. Keep growing, keep going. Don't
focus on the negative. Just keep pushing forward.
And it's very easy to prey to a negative mindset. Yes. And once you start a negative mindset, it just becomes a chain reaction. You have to find somebody in your life that is a positive person and just pushes you. And I'm thankful that I have had many.
And now you're doing it. Now you're paying it forward.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Rachna.
My pleasure. Thank you, Agnes.
Thank you for listening. Please visit the website at www.leveluptribes.com. And please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. Catch you all next time, my beloved tribes.